Abusuya ya makwaba shonko so eba POG Media so ene yare mako highway ne so highway ne de ensem bebre wo so a yen so ya je pene se be me abidwafo no ahu de eko ene de eba na den na eko so ewo highway ne so eye John Dramani Mahama the darling boy a ye friend no eye Malik Basintali a NDC fo ni nyina Ghana fo nyina Ghana youth obia friend the Basintali boy na ono NHS was trepe eye Akuffo ne Dr. Bawumia&Addo enye asem keto akra masa corrupt scandal Malik the Basintali boy elikino enye scandal keto wachire say ono no oye leader of the NDC youth sisi ano o chire say oje NDC amanyuku nesi wona corrupt scandal no bebre no de tudwa ama wa expose Dr. Bawumia ene Akuffo omo $1.3 million scandal bia abusuya ensema Malik ede tudwa na wasan to atoto bia mane eye Akuffo no Dr. Bawumia no enya asem keto akra wa collapse chese Bawumia wa ende Bawumia political career chese ono no oji no hudi no akra ketekete no the Malik no wa exposing the big time abusuya enye asem keto akra be pese be me abidafo no be me akone akwakoti nsema Malik ede tudwa na ansa na be kono or and some can be a fashion your comment section like share my for so answer into me and can be better.
So I'll do 1 minute of he asking why we use the slogan reset. Indeed, I won't go too far to use another example. I'll use his own example. Indeed, Ghana is not a phone to be upgraded or updated. If you want to upgrade things, then are you telling the Ghanaian people that a haircut you've given to pensioner bondholders and independent bondholders will be upgraded so that you journalists and all other persons could also get a haircut under your administration? Is that what you are saying? Are you telling unpaid contractors that you are now going to upgrade their pain and cry and suffering to the extent that even the small, some of them, a few of them get, they will no longer get it, and many more contractors will be added onto the unpaid corridor? Is that what an upgrade means? So what President Mahama is saying is simply that even the free SHS we talked about, the trade-shift system, and so many other unfortunate incidents, that are being tagged onto the free SHS, like very basic lack of nutritious foods being given to the students, will be resetted, and the trade-shift system will be cancelled. They will be given highly nutritious foods, and our educational system could be back on track, still at a free rate. That is what the reset means. And so I just wanted to put that across. Now, I don't know why Mr. Akuffo wants to, at all costs, look for classmates of corruption, of which he and Alhaji Bawumia are already members of. No matter how hard you try, you cannot get classmates in corruption. I am happy that one of the people he cleared, of which he finally attained the highest title of being not just the mother serpent of corruption, but a clearing agent, have finally vindicated the stance of the NDC. I sat on TV and I said, Pius Enam Hajide took over 200 people to Austria. When they got there, it turned out that they were fake people branded as journalists. The Australian authorities deported all of them. And his own minister, Pius Enam Hajide's minister, said he wasn't in charge of visa issuing. It was Pius who brought the people, and it was Pius who led them to Austria. Gross international embarrassment to the people of this country. When I said it, he was jumping all around, swearing all oracles that he wasn't the one. God being so good. And you see, there's a special way the God of 2024 usually exposes criminals. God made he himself declare himself guilty. He stood there and said, just like I took people to Austria, I will take you to US. And this is what we call intended fraud. And if we don't stop it now, if it finally happens, no security person should blame anybody. He said from here to America, it's 7 hours. Tonto, you are an expert of going to America. Which plane? Maybe the Air Force One. Is what takes people at a 7-hour duration from Ghana to America. The best time you can go to America is 10 hours. Yet Pius, because he has intentions of duping his own constituents, collecting monies and not taking them to America, he said they only need 7 hours to get to America, which is a barefaced lie. Number two, you don't even know your fate as to whether your Black Stars that today we don't even know how they are playing will finally go to the World Cup or not. Yet you are already intending to take money from your constituents and take them to Austria. As for Pius's matter, from this platform, we will have a press conference at Osojaman, and we now have documents that prove the amounts of money he took from those 200 people he took to Austria. Until now, many of those 200 people have not gotten a refund. But Pius was not in Australia
when the games were ongoing. When before?
He issued the visas to them. His minister said he was in charge of that.
How can Pius issue visas?
What I mean is that he selected the people, he began the processes for them, he took the details, and then he took the details to the embassy for them to be issued visas. They got there and realized that Pius had given their names to them in pretense that the persons that were going to Austria were journalists, only for it to turn out that they were lay people he just took monies from and took them there. Don't worry.
But you heard and the president speak that the CID report or investigation didn't find any wrongdoing on Pius's part.
Have you seen the CID report?
I haven't, but the president said it.
When the mother serpent of corruption, of which his own special prosecutor office labeled him, tells you something, you need to think twice before you accept it. Now, we're in this country, and I've decided to flag Pius's matter because at 12 o'clock, there'll be breaking news, and GH1, you'll be first to get it, of who the character Pius is. President Akuffo was the man who finally renegotiated the Ameri Innovation scandal. He ballooned the price from 510 million to 1.3 billion. President Akuffo, together with Bawumia. When he was so exposed, when he was caught, he told you and I that he was misled. Till date, Mr. Akuffo has not told us who misled him. Mr. Akuffo has not also commenced investigations into that particular act, simply because he himself, together with Bawumia, are guilty for that crime. That one, shouldn't we call him a clearing agent? Number three, C0řupt Adapa's matter was still under investigation when President Akuffo wrote a love letter. In fact, at the tail end of the letter, he said, "My dear C0řupt Adapa, I know you will be vindicated. Many love. Best of luck ahead in your days." So many sweet words when this woman was under high investigation. Today we've seen what the matter has become. A woman who could stuff dollars. A woman who was given $43 million to dredge the Odo Lagoon refused to dredge it. When she got to parliament, she couldn't even account for the money. Yet we found dollars under her bed. Today, as a result of the clearing agent, we don't even know to the extent to which that particular matter was going.
How did the Akuffo clear C0řupt Adapa?
The letter he wrote, did you read it?
That is a clear, it's him saying that C0řupt Adapa is cleared of any wrongdoing.
Do you know how they sympathize with criminals? You sympathize with a criminal by showing affection to the acts of that person. That was clearly enshrined in President Akuffo's letter to her. PDS, when they ballooned the contract, and in fact, at that one, Alhaji Bawumia is 100% guilty. And I've said that no matter how long it takes, Bawumia will be stripped naked in that particular crime. Bawumia's PDS, they changed the condition precedent to a condition subsequent. They presented fake Carl Bank documents to government of Ghana. They got the contract. In fact, their own minister, Peter Meu, said the documents Bawumia and his cronies presented were fraudulent. Till date, not a single investigation has been done in that particular matter. Charles Edubuahem, a minister of state, who said before you meet Bawumia to discuss Galamsey issues, you have to put $250,000. This is not an ordinary man. He is a man President Akufo appointed Minister of Finance at the office of the president. After he said this, investigations were done at the Special Prosecutor's office. In the concluding part of the report, the Special Prosecutor said Bawumia's crime is so big that it is bigger than the office they appointed him to. And by so doing,
it was stated in the
let me tell you the clause. He said, we need to pass the Corrupt Practices Act before you finally investigate Bawumia's crime.
But
this was the
what was his crime?
Bawumia, his crime was that his own minister said he had been leading people to pay $250,000 before you discuss concession issues with Bawumia. That was what Charles Edubuahem said. And the tape is available. The special prosecutor said the issue is beyond his office. And so Nana Addo should quickly, I have the report, I can read it to you. He said Nana Addo should quickly pass the Corrupt Practices Act in order that they are able to expose Bawumia in full time.
That is not what the report said.
What did the report say?
The report didn't say what you just said.
So the report didn't say they should pass the Corrupt Practices
report
Act.
said that, but you said that in order to investigate Dr. Bawumia. That's not what the report said.
The special prosecutor said the investigations on the vice president haven't closed until they pass the Corrupt Practices Act to enable them fully go into the merits of the matter. That particular matter remains pending. So now, Mr. Akuffo hasn't passed that Corrupt Practices Act. When the NDC comes, we will do it and we'll strip him naked. 10,000 bags of salad rice. This is what they hate hearing. A businessman imported 10,000 bags of lily rice.
You are adding Dr. Bawumia's own to the clearing agent.
Yes, and as to how...
What did the president do in this one?
I will tell you, relax. I'm taking it step by step. When I end, I'll tell you how he cleared it. 10,000 bags.
But you moved on. You are in a different. On a different issue.
I will come. I will name it to you. Don't worry.
So finish with one before you move to the next one.
So which one are you asking now?
I'm asking you about the Charles Edu Boahing's matter.
Yes.
How is the president a clearing agent in that matter?
The special prosecutor advised the president to quickly initiate the implementation and the passage of the Corrupt Practices Act. The president has been negligent in that. If indeed he wanted to investigate this particular matter, he would have quickly passed that act. Why? Haven't we seen bills that have been rushed to parliament, brought back, and the president appended his signature on? Why is it that the president is not interested in this particular matter? So that should tell you that he is not interested in investigating the corrupt practices of his own vice president. 10,000 bags of salad rice. A businessman brought 10,000 bags of lily rice. It was sitting at the pot. Bawumia, through his own administrator, Kekosei, decided to write a letter on the letterhead of Bawumia, seeking that the rice be brought and shared as salad rice. When Kekosei was caught and the matter taken to the special prosecutor's office, Bawumia said he wasn't the one sharing salad rice. It was his administrator. That letter came from Bawumia's office. So until now, Kekosei is still the administrator in Bawumia's office. Yet, President Akuffo and all the highest authorities have decided to play negligent in that particular matter. Of all the corrupt scandals in this country, we've had Galamsey fraud, we've had Aboboyas flying into the sky, we've had high-ranking officials of this particular government engaging in different levels of corruption. President Akuffo still has the tenacity to mount a podium and say my government is free of all these corrupt practices. You see, I wouldn't blame Mr. Akuffo so much because he himself has many questions to answer in respect of the corrupt things they have done at the presidency. And that is why I wasn't surprised when Martin Amidu, who knows Mr. Akuffo so well, decided to say that of all corrupt snakes, Mr. Akuffo is their mother.
Okay, I have the report.
It's one man good.
Malik, I have the special prosecutor's
Fantastic.
report. And at no point is the vice president mentioned in that report at the concluding part. Hold on.
So read the concluding part.
Though the conduct of Mr. Edu Boahing amounts to trading in influence or influence peddling, which is closely associated with corruption, there is no actual criminal prohibition of his act in respect of which the OSP has a mandate to further act.
Fantastic.
Hold on. On that reckoning, the special prosecutor directs the closure at this time of the investigation in respect of allegations of corruption and corruption-related offences involving Charles Edu Boahing.
Continue.
Contained in the investigative documentary titled Galamsey Economy, published by the Tiger IPI.
Fantastic.
The investigation may be reopened should the circumstances and further facts so dictate.
Fantastic.
It goes on commendation.
Yes, I like that.
That the OSP commends the president for the referral to the OSP for the conduct of investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offences involving Mr. Edu Boahing. Where does it state that the Dr. Bawumia's crime is so huge
hold on.
They have they don't have the lawsuit?
Fantastic. Hold on. Who was this? What was this investigation about? It was about Charles Edu Boahing and who?
It was about Charles Edu Boahing. I don't think that was the investigation.
So let me remind you, what commenced this investigation was Charles Edu Boahing saying that he knows Bawumia so well. Hold on, that before you meet Bawumia to discuss Galamsey issues, you have to bring $250,000. True or false? We are mute. And
I don't have to answer that. He's here, you answer that.
So after that was said by Charles Edu Boahing, the special prosecutor commenced investigation into acts of what Charles Edubwahin said against the vice president. And in determining whether it was true or false, the special prosecutor says we need to pass a Corrupt Practices Act. And this particular matter may be reopened. Did you read that?
The Corrupt Practices Act is in reference to Charles Edubwahin.
And the vice president.
Prosecutor said it doesn't mention the vice president, Malik.
Whatever Charles Edubwahin said, that made him stand in investigation. Is about the vice president, true or false? Charles Edubwahin spoke about his relationship with the vice president and said, in order to do galamsey, in order to go on site and work. And you see, my surprise in this particular matter, especially when I heard Charles Edubwahin talking, was how Bawumia is so abreast with issues of galamsey. Because in the northern part of the country, we have very few galamsey sites. So how did Bawumia learn galamsey on the job? That has been my worry in this particular matter. So with what you are saying, it's not even a major worry to me. My major worry is how Bawumia learns galamsey, to the extent that he and Charles Edubwahin, according to Charles Edubwahin, need to sit down, take $250,000 from people before Bawumia gives you concessions. I am saying that when the NDC comes, we'll pass the Corrupt Practices Act. We'll put Bawumia and Charles Edubwahin, who are very good friends, in the witness box, and we'll see how that particular matter will end. So let me quickly talk about Alistair Matthias, who was a gold mafia. And this one again is on the neck of Mr. Akuffo and Bawumia. A gold mafia who said his best friend was Mr. Akuffo, and they had been laundering money like grammars, and even gold that Mr. Akuffo gave him. He's been traveling around the world with it. When Al Jazeera exposed him, Mr. Akuffo wrote a letter to Al Jazeera. Say, why, if you remember, asking Al Jazeera.
You know, I still on that report.
Yes, I'm coming.
Hold on, yes. I want us to conclude. Okay, so conclude the matter, because the OSP report on that same issue. Let me quickly read it. The OSP said that Mr. Edubwahin exhibited lack of sound judgment. His claim that he accepted the cash gift to avoid offending the supposed sheikh lies very thinly, and his suggestion that the payment of an appearance fee of $250,000 to the vice president was reckless, especially as the vice president was unaware.
You've heard the vice president.
Hold on.
You said you didn't hear Bawumia. Have you heard it now?
Hold on. Okay. But listen to what I'm saying.
Good, go on.
Especially as the vice president was unaware of the business he was conducting and had not tasked him to demand money of whatever description on his behalf.
When Atayi first appeared in court, he denied all the theft cases.
This is not Dr. Bawumia that is saying this.
I am saying that when this man was speaking in camera without knowing that he was being recorded, he said emphatically that he had been taking people to Bawumia and giving them $250,000. When the investigation, when he finally realized,
I don't think I heard him say that he has been
play
taking
the video.
People.
Now let me even read this act. I was coming to read the act you just read, where Bawumia's name was mentioned. You said there was nowhere in the report the vice president was mentioned.
I didn't say that.
So now hold on. Read 7.3.
I didn't say that.
So read 7.3. Hold on.
She said in the conclusion.
Which act?
The 7.3. This is the report. This same report.
Okay, you mean the report?
Open it. Go to paragraph 7.3. Open the report. The non-prohibition of most predicate acts of corruption and corruption-related offences endangers impunity of malevolent conduct and the erosion of democratic tenets, which spawn formidable hurdles in the fight against corruption, especially the public sector. On this score, and this was about the report of the Vice President and Charles Edubwahin, the OSP calls for the immediate passage of the Corrupt Practices Act to comprehensively codify the prohibition of all forms of corruption. The OSP joins up the positive, persistent calls of the pressure groups occupied by Ghana. Before,
where's the vice president mentioned here?
I have just explained to you that the entire report. Hold on, the entire report
was about Charles Edubwahin
and the vice president.
No. But listen, the part where you talk about the passage or the OSP calling on the president to pass that act, the OSP specifically said that the conduct of Mr. Edubwahin amounts to trading in influence peddling. And on that score, the OSP does not have the mandate to investigate him on that. The recommendation is that...
So influence peddling against who? Influence peddling against who? Because we peddle influence on someone. So who did we peddle influence on? Just answer that.
But the vice president was not the subject of investigation.
So,
was he?
So the influence peddling, hold on. In influence peddling, before I'm tagged or investigated for influence peddling, I should have used someone's name, true or false. So whose name did Charles Eddu Boahen use? It was even stated in the earlier paragraph you quoted that Charles Eddu Boahen said all what he was doing. Indeed, he mentioned the vice president's name, but the vice president knew nothing about it. Wasn't what he said there. So indeed, this entire investigation was about influence peddled using the vice president's name. The determination as to whether it was true or false cannot be determined until a Corrupt Practices Act is passed. And by so doing, would go into full investigation of Bawumia again and Charles Eddu Boahen, and then would ascertain as to whether it was true or false. That hasn't been determined yet.
Did you read that statement from the vice president?
Of what?
When this matter came up.
Are you taking the vice president's word? I'm saying that when
I'm just asking,
so
did you read it?
Of course.
Okay.
The vice president disassociated himself from it. And I'm telling you that even when Atai went to court, he said he wasn't guilty. We've caught people killing people. They went to court and said they weren't guilty. Do you expect Bawumia, after all the taking $250,000, to come and tell you that, yes, Sewa, you see, you've been smiling to me. I want to tell you the truth. The truth is that I took $250,000. He will never do that until he's stripped naked. And John Mahama is saying that through his oral policy will strip him naked, whether they like it or not. And many of them will go to jail. Now, on the matter of the Alistair Matthias, I had already stated that the president threatened Al Jazeera. You read the letter. The brand, Al Jazeera should retract, although sue them through Koesuman. Till date, Mr. Akuffo has not had the courage and balls to take Al Jazeera to any court. And that's simply because he's indicted in this particular matter. When Nyantechi came and said, when you give Mr. Akuffo 3 million, you will just catch him and put in your pocket. When you give Bawumia 2 million, he will shake the head, all the contracts in this country will be for you. Nyantechi again used their names. How did Nyantechi know even the chair Mr. Akuffo was sitting on in his hotel? He said, when you enter the hotel, look left. Mr. Akuffo sits there. Anytime he's ready to take 3 million, that is where he sits. Till date, Sewa, tell me what came out of the Nyantechi matter. Nothing.
That one to Akuffo cleared.
That one to nothing came out of it.
The case is in court. So how is that? How is Akuffo a clearing agent for that?
For how many years now?
But Akuffo is not a judge.
Mr. Akuffo mounted the podium immediately after that incident to say that nothing was true in that particular matter, and that is why till now no report has been got. Anybody who has engaged in corruption under his administration, Mr. Akuffo is first to mount a podium. Health minister, when the health minister ballooned the contract, COVID-19 drugs from $9 to $19, his friend Sheikh Al Maktoum, a Dubai sheikh who is known to be a rascal in the entire world, they partnered and ballooned the price, bought COVID-19 drugs. The minister himself sat in parliament and said they should forgive him his sins. He wasn't thinking right. He was under pressure. He will never repeat that corrupt act again. So, does corruption have forgive me? I'll never repeat it again. He admitted guilt. Mr. Akuffo went to his hometown. You remember Doma? Stood there. When investigations were going on, he said, Munja Health Minister Bredodo, leave him in peace. The man has, yes, taken our money away, but leave him. And you said this man is not a clearing agent. Look, I don't want to bring incidents of where Mr. Akuffo was even seen taking brown envelope with 2 hands and salivating, because all those matters will still be investigated. But the point we are making in this one is that, look, corruption has been the canker of this particular country. And so we cannot continue on that tangent. There are villages that need schools, villages that need hospitals. And as a government, if you decide to misappropriate the funds, just yesterday, shamelessly, our Baba Yara Sports Stadium cannot even be used to play games. They have ruled us out. Yet, Mr. Akuffo and co. have sat down and they have sunk $1 billion+ in the National Cathedral. Go and look at it. It is a left abandoned hole. Yet, high-rise judges' buildings were collapsed in that particular matter. Companies, the passport office together with other many offices were collapsed and grounded. $1 billion wasted in it. Yet our stadiums are not even fit for purpose. Roads are being damaged everywhere. Lives are derailing. And there's high inflation in this country. All because this government has decided, together with the appointees, to siphon funds that belong to people. And because they have the mother serpent of corruption as president, together with his deputy Alhaji Bawumia, they've decided to turn a blind eye to it. So we must one day kneel down and plead on Mr. Akuffo. The corruption is too much under his government. I know that the people have taken a decision to vote out this inept government. I haven't even spoken about family and friends. Tonto is sitting here, highly qualified to be ambassador at large. Yet Mr. Akuffo has given his own secretary, again, another appointment, as ambassador at large, 2 appointments to 1 person. Since when did we start sharing the national cake in a family house? Since when? If you gave that position to somebody too, at least it will roll out to somebody, your family member alone. And you see, the reason why family and friends breeds corruption is that when Bawumia gave his sister Laraba, made the NDA boss, Abobo Yas got missing. No investigation was done in Gamata because that is his sister. He cannot investigate her. Akroma, the president's daughter, he appointed her to the Creative Art Industry Board for the first time, where a president decides to share a national cake in his family house. When the moving Pina matter came, where they siphoned fuel in this country, no investigation was done. Bawumia's brother, Abraham Bawumia, they have balloon contracts and given to him. The Sunyani airport was ballooned and given to him. Inflated cost, no public procurement authority laws, and that it was sole sourced. I mean, just breached every law in this country because it is Bawumia's brother. Nobody can touch it, and that is how they are siphoning funds with their family members and all of that. And when we talk about it, Mr. Akuffo thinks that he must look for somebody to come and become his classmate. And when I heard him speak about government official one, I said, "Oh my God." So this matter that has been brought to conclusion, you are going back to it.
All right, thank you, Kofi.
Abusia, wene ensema ekoso ewo highway so Malik the Basintali boy NDC youth communicator say wa expose Akuffo ne Dr. Bawumia enye asam keto. Abusia eno ensema na ekoti na no na ode ye den ode etu dja say o kire say eye Akuffo no corruption na say back corruption ankasa de Akuffo ne Dr. Bawumia no omuni anu ye wo ba bia ye bere abidafo asese amaje pene kokoti sa audio no ere mai aha POG Media so mere mase